It's the friendship, it's the camaraderie, it's the music. It just makes me happy, warms my soul. Probably 5 when I first started. I've been singing, in grade school age. I still have an opera singer cousin, which I didn't, I knew about him and I met him when I was 18 the first time. After meeting him, I was like, I want to do what he does. Unfortunately, I don't really get paid for it. Only got paid for it once. I started really liking the classical music at age 18 and hasn't stopped since then. If I didn't sing, I might as well not even be on this earth because, it keeps me going, especially now that, this certain person who we're going to talk about is no longer here. It motivates me to keep going, because I promised him that I would, and he wouldn't want me to quit. We met in choir. We were following each other home from choir practice every Tuesday night. He was going one direction, I was going the other, and I also told him I need a ride down to Miami because he said, "Sure. Who do you know that could give you a ride?" And the first person I knew of was Wally Scherer. I really wanted to get to know him because I was kind of, all through choir practice, kind of looking back at him and thinking, this guy is kind of nice looking and looks really good in a tux. And um, just, he made me smile every time I looked at him. And we were kind of, I don't know, I was kind of flirting with him, and women around me in the choir section would know that they would see that I would kind of look back and just kind of make eye contact with him. And then we kind of smile at each other and look away. And it's, kind of, I'm the soprano, he was the low end. If Patty makes us mix around a room, I'm going to go stand next to a bass because I'm so used to hearing it that it just is comfortable for me to sing by. The first time we sang together knowingly the Vivaldi Gloria, you kind of had, it was that first, you have butterflies, and you go and you think you have this guy who you think you really like, and you don't know where it's going to go, but you don't want to stop. You don't want to stop seeing him, see where it goes. He picked me up for that one necessary ride down to Miami, and from then we never stopped. We just kept going, and people eventually realized that we were a couple, kind of inseparable. He was very funny. He was, just the fact that we shared the music thing together. He was funny. He always made me laugh. It was very comforting for me to still be able to hear what his voice sounded like, especially when we did stuff like the Messiah, because we both enjoyed that. We sang it together. He rode around and he had it on his bicycle radio, and we were listening to it while bike riding, and listening to it while we were watching a football game. After a concert, we had sung the Christmas concert. We had come home, and he was, visiting with me, my parents, and then he was like, I gotta, go home soon, because he also took care of his parents, because his parents were elderly, both of them. His mother at the time was probably in her late 80s. His father was in his early 90s, and he was caretaking them as best he could. And he was like, I gotta hurry up and go home. But kind of made him try to stay a little longer. I said, before you go, at least can we just do a picture? By the Our thing was always to just do a picture by the Christmas tree, him in the tux and me in the that was That was our first after concert picture. But I can still, and don't laugh at me for this, but I remember that day like it was yesterday, and I can still feel what it felt like for his arms to be around, him touching me the way he did. I can still feel what it feels like. We eventually did marry after about almost 4 years of going together, something like that. My sister was part of my wedding, my sister and brother-in-law, and she said, I had never seen you so happy as you were on your wedding day. I mean, it was a simple wedding at the courthouse, something really not too expensive, but I mean, I was running. I was running in the halls of the courthouse waiting to go get married. Since it couldn't happen fast enough. Talk about a soulmate. He was definitely mine. I couldn't have been happier to find such a person. He was truly the love of my life. Just happy to have had him in my life as long as I did. He passed away June 19th of 2012. It's very hard to watch somebody you love pass away from an illness that is going to take him eventually, and but to see him every day eventually, and just it's really tough, but knowing that he had so much faith, it made it so much easier. So yeah, it's been a long 9 years, but it's still tough. But like I said, I can't quit. I do my music in in memory of a lot of people right now. Um, I do it for my family, I do it for my parents, I do it for Wally, because if and I do it for myself too, but it helps to think about my parents and Wally also, because the funniest thing was just how people would notice how that we would look back at each other, or I would look back and look back at him just to make sure he was up there and stuff, and it still happened for a while, and it's funny even now he's not here, but for a long time I would still hear the sound of his voice mixed in, intermingled in amongst the choir. I don't know. He he passed away, but he's still a part of the singing. It's I can't ever stop thinking about him, and um, he'll always be a part of whatever we're singing, whatever it is. And there always ends up being some kind of something that links us together. He knew where he was going, and we both knew that we both were going to end up in the same place eventually. And what keeps me going is, he's not here, but I still feel his presence every day. And I know that I'll see him when it's my turn to go. It's just like the last thing I think we sang together was pieces from different operas, and even that holds a special part, area of my heart. It's happy and it's bittersweet. There's a lot of music that I listen to or that I hear that reminds me of him or when he first passed away. um there was a guy in the choir, and he's like, he was asking questions, but he's like, I'm afraid to talk to you about him. And I said, please don't be ever afraid to talk about him, because it makes me happy. I was it was very hard. It was really hard for me this year, and I'm like, I really, when we couldn't get together and meet in person, and I couldn't hear everybody's part around me, and to just be here at home in the living room doing a choir rehearsal by myself. But it did cross my mind, maybe I should sit out this term because I can't really, um, I'm not
Mhm.
sure if I could do the virtual thing and the virtual recording, or this, that, and the other. And I'm really glad that I stuck it out, even so it took me a while to figure out how to record myself and how to, do all that. I'm really glad I did, because the final product of it was like, wow, I want to feel people's hugs again. And it's just, looking forward to eventually seeing people's faces without masks on. My wish for everybody is to, I mean, at this point, I just wish that everybody would find their true love. Because even my mom, there was one point in 2005 where I asked my mom, because I was 40, I was turning 40, and I remember crying at 40 because I was like, I'm not married, I don't have anybody, blah, blah, blah. And, when is it? How do you know when you're going to find the right person to marry? And she said, she basically was telling me, she said, you just gotta, you'll eventually know, you'll feel it when it's the right person. That's true, because it happened to me. For us, music has a very deep connection, and it's it I don't think it'll ever stop.